for some reason, I don't know what happened in my mind. So I just realized that I'm so beautiful. I can start modeling the way I feel like. I can just start dressing differently. And for some reason, it's like my eyes opened. I realized, kumbe nakuanga msupu hivi. Kumbe I can drink. Kumbe I can go to this and these joints. Kumbe this is the life in campus. That's the time I started partying. My mom gave me school fees. Akaniambia, by the way, Christine, juu aliona tabia yangu venye inaenda. She told me like a joke. Ndio hii school fees. Ukisikia kukula ukule. And you see watu wa mental illness, hiyo kitu unamwambia asifanye, hiyo yenye unamwambia asifanye, hiyo ndio yenye anaendanga na anafanya. Bipolar is a mood disorder that is characterized by manic highs, what we call hyperactivity, whereby you have insomnia. You can even spend days on end without sleeping, a week, 2 weeks without even sleeping. Then you have an increased sense of overconfidence, kujiamini. Then we also have engaging in risky behaviors, sexual behaviors. We also have the grandiose thoughts, whereby you have that feeling that maybe you're such a big person, a prominent person in society. And also you have a flight of ideas, like you can start saying, by the way, I have like 20 million in my account, and in your mind you believe you have the 20 million. Another thing, you can also tell your parents that you've won the lottery. You even have a budget on how you'll be able to use the money. You can also have psychosis whereby you lose touch with reality. Like if I can give my story whereby I was able to lose touch in reality such that it led me to be hospitalized. I thought that I was a presenter with BBC. And at that particular time, the retired president Barack Obama was in the country. So in my mind, Christine thought that she's been sent on a mission in Nairobi to cover the president. So I started telling my mom, by the way, mom, mimi nataka kuenda kuona Prezo uko KU. He was at KU, and you know KU is my alma mater. So I wanted to go even with my pajamas. So I even had a notebook and a pen, just writing things down. It was being streamed on TV. Writing things down. In my head, I have my conversation that I'm talking to the president, asking him questions. Yeah, I listen, I write down. I even imagine I'm in the studio, just the president is there. I'm dressed in good clothes. Yani, it is just me and the president. I don't even want to hear what my mom is telling me. So, yeah, so you have psychosis, you have the flight of ideas. So it's like the mind and the mouth, they don't go hand in hand at the same speed. So you find you're talking even more than you can even think. Like there was a time, even at my workplace, I was undergoing through that. I started talking from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. non-stop. One story after the other, my childhood, my this. I take calls. At that particular time is when I remember, my high school boyfriend, let me call him. My campus boyfriend, let me call him. That crush that I have, I don't know from where, let me call him at that particular time. Tell him how I love him and so many other things. So it's it's really, really funny. At that particular time, you are in your own world, and somebody can mistake you for a drunk person that you high, and you're just being you. It's just that akili ni kama imeachilia bolt kidogo. So that's the high, manic high. So it can last maybe for 2 weeks, whereby you have like 3 to 4 symptoms happening at the same time. And now you have the lows. So you see, for bipolar, the bi, you have the high and the low. So it's 2 by 2. So polar, 2 poles. So we now have the depression, bipolar depression, whereby it's not any different from the normal depression, whereby it's just a feeling of sadness. you don't feel like doing anything, you feel withdrawn, you have less appetite, you have hyperinsomnia whereby you just feel like sleeping the entire day, as compared to this other one whereby you don't feel like sleeping at all. It's like two different persons in one. So either you find me I'm too hyper, or either you find me really low that I don't feel like doing anything. So at that particular time, you find it's your family members who will tell you, Bethe Christine, ulikuwa umezoea kupiga luku, saizi look at yourself, what is this that's happening? So it's also a warning sign. Even hygiene is a problem. Such things. You used to like doing your house chores at a particular time. You don't even have the energy to do it. You have preoccupations with feelings of death, feelings of hopelessness. So at times you can even take to maybe drinking to just numb that feeling and forget everything that's going on. And for that, you find that it can also go on for maybe, 2 to 3 weeks. It may even lead you to hospitalization. So either way, dealing with bipolar, it's really difficult. And now you know, but now with medication, it really helps you. And now you see you have 2 types of bipolar. We have bipolar 2 and bipolar 1. Like what I'm suffering from is bipolar 2. So for bipolar 1, you find mostly they are manic all the time. They are hypersexual, they are feeling hyper most of the time, and a little bit of their life is when they feel depressed. But now for bipolar 2, the one that I'm going through, basically you have a longer depressive phase, and now for the mania, it doesn't lead you to hospitalization. You can be able to like be productive, but maybe people will realize there's a gap somewhere, but it's not a must you are hospitalized. So that's the difference. And the difference of that with the ADHD, acute deficit hyperactivity disorder, is whereby for them, their concentration span is really limited. For us, we can be able to concentrate for the longest time. Maybe if I'm undergoing an episode like mania, that's when maybe you can say concentration is a problem. But now for ADHD, given that they have problems also with their neurotransmitters, they cannot stay still for a longer time. And it's easy for you to point out when they have meltdown and the tantrums that this child is not okay. But now for us, if I hadn't told you, you wouldn't know that I'm having a mental condition. Even while in campus, people couldn't understand why this church girl, mbona libadilisha dressing all of a sudden. Even my parents, my siblings, they thought, Christine maybe ni ndoma amevuta sana, akili ikawachilia, but which is not the case. But they came to realize much later that kumbe it's a struggle with my mind. That's why neurotransmitters ilifika place zikakuwa na shida, because you see with bipolar, you're born with it, but it's inactive in your body. You're like a carrier. But come maybe around your late teenage years, or until maybe around between 25 to 28 years, when you experience a trigger in your life. The trigger can be maybe you've lost a loved one, you've lost an opportunity, your relationship has broken, and that trigger is what, maybe you've had a distressed pregnancy like what I had. That trigger is what makes an episode maybe to manifest itself. And that's when utafanya vituko and people will be like, kumbe, this is more than meets the eye. Let's go to a psychiatrist so that you can be able to get help. So for me, what happened is after I lost my son, so I was born a normal child, went through education in a regular school, come high school, so introverted, even interacting with the opposite sex was a problem, had a direct entry into campus, all was well. Supposedly, I hadn't interacted with the opposite sex, got a boyfriend, things went the way they went, had family issues, and I saw that this boyfriend is my to-go-to person, and that's how I got pregnant while in campus. So he had finished his studies, Christine was there, still a third year. We had a student strike for close to 6 months. Christine eloped with this guy, and that's how Christine got pregnant. Went back home, couldn't even share with my mom what it is that I was going through. By the moment they were realizing that I'm pregnant, the guy had already said that that pregnancy was not his. They called him, Charlie akaruka akawambia, awambie huyu hii mimba alitoa wapi. So that's how I went to the, kukaenda venye kulienda, time ya delivery kafika. I was so green, I didn't know what to expect. It was really tough, had a distress labor for close to 48 hours. The baby got tired, and by the time I was even delivering, the baby was born with lack of enough oxygen, a condition we call asphyxia. So he had severe asphyxia, and that's how he was put on oxygen for 2 weeks. And you see, I went into labor on Friday and exams were beginning on Monday. So it was really tough. Christine is there, has a baby. She thought it was easy. Labor wasn't easy for her. So I have to leave the baby on oxygen. My mom has to come and stay with me at the hospital for that while. I remove the hospital gown, go and do the exams. I have my books with me at the hospital. I have to read and do my exams. So I was living there, going to Kenyatta University, just doing my exams. That time I wasn't talking to anyone. Everyone is asking me, by the way, Christine, mtoi ako wapi, anaitwa nani? The guy had came for some errands. He was running in Nairobi, but never came to see us at the hospital. So it was just me and the family and my family members. So we happened to stay at the hospital for 2 good weeks, went home for 3 other weeks, and that delivery process, that motherhood experience was nothing that I had ever expected in my life. So it was really tough. I expected that the child will breastfeed. The child never breastfed all that while, and unfortunately the child passed on 5 weeks later due to breathing problems and choking, and we lost the baby. So that was the time I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. At that particular time, even when we were burying the child, I was like a shell of myself. Even talking to people was a problem. I remember I just used to rub my hands and looking down, not talking to anyone, not telling anyone what it is that I was going through. In my mind, my life used to replay that I've wasted my life. Being top of the class meant nothing to me at that particular time. I just wanted to die. And I remember I used to just stay in my room, and one day I overdosed. I took meds, my brother's meds, and just took close to 70 tablets, and it felt really bad. And I never told anyone. I just sat and I just thought that maybe it will be easy to just drift away and just die and follow my child, but it wasn't easy. So I went through spiritual intervention, counseling, started on meds, antidepressants. It was really a tough journey, but I happened to make it through. My peers, they went for their attachment. Christine was there just at home, just sitting around, and come the following semester, I joined them and continued with my studies. So it was really difficult. So I went for 2 more semesters without any drama. Now come the final semester in 2011. So for some reason, I don't know what happened in my mind. So I just realized that I'm so beautiful. I can start modeling the way I feel like. I can just start dressing differently. And for some reason, it's like my eyes opened. I realized, kumbe nakuanga msupu hivi. Kumbe I can drink. Kumbe I can go to this and these joints. Kumbe this is the life in campus. That's the time I started partying. And we opened school, so I started over the holiday. I remember my birthday that time. That time I was around, in 2012, I was around 25 years. So that time I remember my birthday, for once, sijui nilipatana na wapi, a certain guy tu kwa gari, tukaenda, he bought me lunch, we went, had drinks, He spent a lot on me, by the way, and that's how tuliachana na yeye. For some reason, that was my first time in the club. And hapo ndo sasa ni kama I was oriented kwa maneno ya clubbing here and there. And I remember for that period, I sampled as many clubs as possible in this Nairobi. So it was so tough. So even my sisters, they were like, Christine, kwani nini hizi unavuta zinakupeleka hivi? Mimi naambia mbedhembe hakuna kitu navuta. Mimi niko sawa. Na sasa hiyo yenye hata nikaona home akwezi niweka au wanaongea story ya church, mi church. Church hapana. Dressing imebadilika. For some reason naanza kudress funny. So time ya kwenda shule. So for close to 1 week it was just partying from one place to another. Sina pesa but dunda nayo nitaenda kila siku. I can even meet you kwa gari na hivyo ndo nitakufuata. Plans zako zitakuwa zangu na tutaenda. So you see, with bipolar, there's something we call impulsivity and intrusive thoughts, whereby, like you can be able to think that, hey, niende dunda kweli? Apana, it's not right, let me not go. Niko na pesa, niko na 500, if 500 I can do with it A, B, C, D, E. At the back of my mind, mimi sifikiri about that. Saizi nasikia kukunywa, penye pombe itapatikana ndio hiyo, sitaki kujua. Nasikia kukula kama ni kwa hoteli, I will go and eat. As in, yo common sense yenye itakwambia don't do this, listen to your conscience. Hakuna kabisa. And that's how you find people with mental illness wanaenda wanajipata kona mbaya, because hiyo breaks kwa akili hakuna, ni kama inakuwa interfered with when the neurotransmitters zinaanza kukua not balanced at all. Hiyo December nikapate ikafika sasa time ya kurudi shule. My mom gave me school fees. Akaniambia, by the way, Christine, juu aliona tabia yangu venye inaenda. She told me like a joke. Ndio hii school fees. Ukisikia kukula ukule. And you see watu wa mental illness, hiyo kitu unamwambia asifanye, hiyo yenye unamwambia asifanye, hiyo ndio yenye anaendanga na anafanya. Believe you me, it didn't take me 1 hour. Pesa yote ya school fees. I went and shopped, at the back of my mind nikajiambia, by the way, for this inaonanga watu wanaendanga wanapata kazi wanaanza kuishi maisha mzuri. So hata mimi nitakazana nipate kazi. Kazi yenyewe by the way nilipata. Nitakazana nipate kazi, that is 1. 2, nitaishi maisha yenye nataka. 3, nguo si ndo hizo nimenunua. Vyombo ndo hizo nimenunua. Mchana wenyewe nikakula school fees. Room nayo nikaenda nikajipe room yenye nataka, even without paying. School fees sijalipa, room ndo hiyo sina. It was only a matter of time I was kicked out of that room. Na mimi nikajiambia, huku home venye nikukaziwa maisha sirudi home. One of my classmates nikamwambia, by the way, si uko na double room na unaishi peke yako, juu hiyo de mwingine she was working, she wasn't stay there. Si nikuje nikae na wewe. Na hivyo ndo nilibeba vitu zangu na nikaenda room. Na before hata nifukuze huko kwa room, I was the kind of person nilikuwa sasa nasumbua tu roommate. Kazi ni kuleta wageni kila siku kwa room. Na kuja na wapikia, wana enjoy nini wanakaa hadi late, then they go. So she wasn't really happy with that. Tulikuwa tunakosana each and every other time. So huku kwingine nayo, this girl alikuwa amenijua since first year. Akaona na Christine siku hizi anabamba, so hatukusumbuana sana. So that particular time I got that job, I used to go to work drunk, and it was a data entry job. And you see, kazi yenye ina involve an analytical mind, you cannot be able to do kama umeshinda dunda the whole night. So it was really, really tough. It was just a matter of time before I was kicked out. 4 days was enough. Nikaambiwa, out Neja, go. And that's how nikarudi tu classes nangangana. Siku ile najisikia kuenda naenda. Siku ile nime rave the whole night, nimechoka na wacha. So there is this particular time. Nimetoka dunda the whole night. Kitu ikaniambia, si uende church, umekavia kwenda church with my skimpy dressing. Fishnet, hizo stockings za fishnet, kaskat kafupi, top inafika huku, makeup, weave ingine ya hata sijui niseme nilikuwa nakaaje. So ungeniangalia tu hivyo save, this girl, she's misplaced. Huyu nikaa ametoka tu shughuli zake, maybe hata anafanya kazi fani, ameamua tu apitie church. Nikapita church. So nika make sure mama janiona. Kumbe because I used to serve in children's ministry for the longest time teaching Sunday school. Kumbe pasi aliniona. Akaambia, mom, by the way, I have seen your daughter and the way she's dressed. Why? I feel she's not okay. You do this, just hatch a plan and make sure you get her to the psychiatrist the next day. So mama akahatch plan, akaniambia, by the way, Christine akanipiga simu. Hello, Christine, by the way, you've been so good to me. Kuna vile nataka kukupeleka out. So I was so excited. Simi nikakuja tukaenda, naona tunapeleka hospitali. Avenue Hospital. I'm like, what? What is this? Tunaingia kwa karumu. Kumbe ni kwa psychiatrist. Psychiatrist akaanza tu kuongea. After kumbe mama alikuwa ameingia before akamwambia story yote. So mi kuingia, it was just one accusation after the other. See, umechange dressing. It's like you're doing drugs. Unafanya hii na hii. Kumbe walikuwa najua kumbe na kunywanga hadi pombe. You even drinking. Look at you. I'm sure hata wendi classes, blah, blah, blah. So I felt so bad I was attacked. Nikawambia, mimi, taking drugs. Unajua that time you still in denial. Mimi taking drugs. That time hata sikuwa nimewahi vuta sigara hivi najua hata bangi inaonja aje. Mimi, drugs, what are you talking about? And that's how I walked out on them. Nikawaacha mimi nikaenda. Yes, I understand. She was very discouraged. She was very angry. Because I even used to fight her kwa njia. Tunakutana tu because I wasn't staying with her. Maybe amekaa bila kuniona there's something she wants to tell me. It used to end badly. Almost getting into a physical fight. So I know I pushed her away. I know I pushed my siblings away. But what I would love to tell them is that being your child's best friend is really, really important. Being able to note that my child amekuwa like A, B, C, D, E. Friends wake ni hawa na hawa. So maybe kuna kitu mimi siwezi mwambia but anaweza kuijua from my friends. So probably what she would have done is to befriend my friends na waulize, Christine, ni nini imefanya siku hizi? Though even my friends hawakuwa wanajua. It's really difficult for a parent to know why is it that you're behaving like this. Because unaona it's something with the brain na inakuja tu automatically because of the trigger. Ni ngumu kujua what is it. But now you see with the awareness creation yenye imekuwa ikienda through, people are able to know of the warning signs. So probably psychiatrist angekuwa more judgmental, angekuwa more open-minded. Na hiyo pia angesaidia my mom to be able to rescue the situation. Embracing me. Yes, najua nilikuwa nimekuwa venye nimekuwa, but embracing me and bringing me close, being empathetic, trying to put myself in my shoe, because even me I was going through things that I couldn't even understand. So hapo ndo I think wangekuwa able kusaidia. Even the family wange come together, waongee na psychiatrist before awaambie she's behaving like this and this because of ABCDE. And instead of attacking me, what angefanya ni ange ensure nime undergo through a mental health assessment kwanza. Aniulize maswali, are you feeling like this and this and this? So you're behaving like this because you have a mental condition. But now just attacking me that you're taking drugs, doing this and this. Being judgmental is one of the things that inafanyanga even people run away. Because like for me, I've been running away for the longest time. Just a small disagreement like this and I will block my parents and my siblings everywhere and I will run away. Hawatajua niko wapi. Making things even worse. Junaenda unapata, you'll be taken advantage of. If it's getting pregnant, you go and get pregnant, which was really, really difficult. So if I can be able to go back to my story, so that was in 2011. So people finished their units, they were able to like graduate in December. So between that time, that was in April to December. So it was up and down. Mood inaenda juu, nakuwa hyper, I go and engage in risky behaviors, I start regretting. So it's normally like a cycle. You are hyper, you go make very bad decisions, even financial decisions, like I have told you how I was able to spend close to 25,000 in a span of 1 hour. I didn't have a coin. So even financial decisions are really difficult to make at that particular time. So it was really, really difficult at that time because people are graduating, hata home sijasema what it is that I'm going through. So I remember that time, even attachment. I got a very nice place ya kufanyia attachment. I was being paid each and every month. But given that bado I was still partying, inafika Friday, I go back to my campus, Kenyatta University. I go and party, come back. I start regretting whatever it is that I did. So psychological depression now inaanza. I start staying in the house. Na even though pia, I lost the internship opportunity. So mom was able to get me another opportunity. Ata siku anaenda job kila siku. Yeah, anatoka anaenda because we were working almost the same vicinity. Anatoka anaenda, mi ananiacha kwa nyumba. Jioni atakuja nipate tu nimetulia, nimwambie na leo umerudi mapema. Nimerudi mapema kabisa. Leo hatukuwa na kazi mingi. So it went on for close to 2 weeks. So mama kakaa hivi akaenda kuulizanga job. Na huyo msichana ni lini mwisho alikuwa hapa? Wakamwambia by the way, huyo msichana mimi hata hatujui aliendanga wapi. So it was really, really difficult. So on matters depression, it's really tough because the things zenye mtu alikuwa used kufanya, kama ni kwenda job kila siku, you don't even see the meaning of that job anymore. It's really, really tough. So that particular time, watu wanafaa graduate December. Christine is there just in the house. Attachment nimekazwa, nimemaliza, ndio sasa hata hizo recommendation letters nimepata. Mama mekazana, attachment reports zimeandikwa, hata she's the one who took them back there. Ndo sani ni able to graduate. So anashanga, Christine is not even enthusiastic about graduation. What is it? Mimi sisemi kitu. So wakaplan na my dad, tuende now hadi campus, wajue what it is that's going on. Mimi nikasema ni mimi. Naenda kujulikana ni nini nilifanya. Wananiambia, ananitanga Milo, short form for Milo. Milo, kuja! I'm like, sasa nitafanya nini? Siendi. Kwa akili najiambia, siendi, sitoki kwa hii nyumba. Watu ndio, hata nikitembea kwa barabara, I used to like feel it's like voices in the head, people laughing at me. So, mimi niende kuchekelewa venye nakaa. Because unajua nimeset standards huko high, venye nilikuwa napiga luku na kila kitu, saizi sitaki anyone anione. So nasema, niende nijulikane, that is one. Niende nikichekelewa, hiyo embarrassment yote, sitaki. So nikashika makasi. And by the way, as I'm creating awareness, juzi ndo I was joking with my friends. Na leo nimekuwa nikicheza na makasi hivi, nasikia tu kunyoa nywele. So I was remembering hiyo siku nikasema, nikinyoa hii nywele hakuna venye watanipeleka huko. So nikashika makasi. The hair was even longer than this. Nikakata cha. So mom akakuja akanock, nikamfungulia, akaniona venye nilikuwa nakaa. She cried. Akaniambia, Christine tuende. Nikasema siendi. Shida ni gani? Sisemi. Wakabebana na my dad wakaenda. So by the time they were going, the exam coordinator had to tell them the truth. Christine didn't register for her units. She didn't attend 70% of the classes. She didn't do her exams. So you can imagine the way my parents felt. It was so disappointing. Tegemeo la familia, the only person who had gone to campus. Wakakuja nyumbani by the way. Hawakupiga simu kuniambia nini wameambiwa. Wakakuja tu. Wakaniambia by the way, Christine tuambie ukweli, nini ulifanya? Nikamwambia by the way mom, mimi sijui nini ili happen, but mimi nilikula school fees. Nikalia ndio nisiulize maswali. Nikalia kabisa. Ikaishia hapo, wakaniwacha tu, wakaambiwa but tumeandikiwa chini uende ufanye research project, units za hiyo semester ufanye na attachment to make sure report umepeleka. Nikasema ni sawa. So the following semester watu wanafaa kurudi shule. Mama akatafuta pesa akalipa hiyo school fees tena. Christine nayo ni nani? Bado ni maisha ya kupati from here to here. So and if I can take you back, hiyo 2011 bado ndo tufunge shule April. So I was telling you venye hiyo ya kufuata mtu. Mtu ananikatia staki stories zake, bado namfuata. So hivyo ndo nilikuwa nafuatananga na student leader mwingine hapo. So hiyo siku mimi nimetoka zangu, nimekunywa, nimetosheka, nikaenda kwa room yake. Nikapata kuna pombe hapo. Kumbe pombe ilikuwa ya bash. Christine si akajieka kwa pombe yenyewe akakunywa bila ruhusa. He was taking a shower. Kumbe pombe ni ya bash. Nikakunywa pombe nikamaliza. What I remember is the guy came. Akanikuta hapo. Simu za wenyewe zilikuwa hapo, nikachukua nikaeka kwa bag yangu. I thought they were my phones. So chali akanipata hapo, phones zake haziko, pombe ya wenyewe ya bash nimekunywa almost nimemaliza. So they are like, what have you done? Nikamwambia mimi umeniona nikifanya kitu, sasa hizo I'm totally drunk. Hey, the guy called a mob. Nilitandikwa. I remember I was just being banged on the wall. So it really got serious. The issue was escalated because violence in campus, it's a no-go zone. And that's how my file was taken from the registry to the disciplinary committee. So hata kama nilienda nikafanya hizo units zote. So if I can take you mbele kidogo up to 2015. So nilirudingi shule 2013 after I was able to like get help. So what happened is that I was so depressed. I've even lost weight. I'm not eating. My mom was like, Christine, given alikuwa notice hizo signs, risky sexual behavior. So she thought, Christine, maybe by the way, she has even contracted HIV. That's why she's behaving like this. Anajua tu ni kuenda anaenda. So ndo maana ame lose interest na kila kitu. So she told me, Bethe, Christine, twende hosi. We do all the tests so that we can be able to know what is ailing you. So we went, did all the tests. The tests came negative. So the lab technician told my mom, Bethe, Christine just needs a man to affirm her that she's beautiful, that she'll be able to get another baby, that life is good, that she'll be able to finish her studies, get a good job, and get married and live a good life. So my mama akamuuliza, so what's the solution? Akamwambia, by the way, I'll be able to offer pro bono services, free pro bono counseling services to her until she gets better. And that's how I started therapy in 2013. So kila kitu ikaenda vizuri and I was able to go back to school. I was able to settle in class, nikasoma. So if I can tell you about that incident that happened, I had to go through the disciplinary committee hearing, which was in 2015. So nimemaliza kila kitu nangojea, najaza vitu za graduation, bado sitokei kwa list. So ndo tukaenda registry, wakaniambia, by the way, file yako haiko, tukiangalia kwa kitabu, tunaona hiyo file ilichukuliwa hapa in 2011, na mpaka sasa haijawahi rudi. So nikatumwa, by the way, reason akatuambia. Tukaenda Senate wakatuambia, by the way, hata ni bahati mmekuja, we are even having a hearing in a few days time. Waenda attend the disciplinary hearing and that's how you'll be able to graduate. So by the time I was going for that disciplinary hearing, it was in December and I had been diagnosed in July. So 2015, so everything went on well. 2013, 2014, hizo ups za mania na depression hazikuwa that serious. So come 2015 July, I was a bit vocal, mara naenda kuvolunteer hapa na pale, social media niko kila mahali. So it reached a point when I was going through a lot. I'm juggling 2 jobs. Kuna zenye nafanya za usiku, mara mchana, mara kazi, mara relationship issues, mara parenting issues, mara family issues. It was too much for me. That's when I hadn't slept for 2 hours. So that's when I got hiyo yenye nilikuwa nawaambia psychosis. I lost touch with reality. Oh, sorry, I hadn't slept for 2 weeks. So it was really, really tough at that particular time. So when my mom thought that enough is enough, that's when she was able to take me to a hospital. It was just a private hospital in our vicinity. So what happened, even sedating me was a problem. Kunidunga, bado nadungwa na silali. I'm just very destructive. I broke stuff in that hospital worth close to 25,000. So wakaona enough is enough. In the morning, wakatuandikia referral up to Mathare Hospital. Being taken to Mathare Hospital, it was a struggle. Because even mtu anajaribu kuniambia kitu, patient tumekaa naye hapo kwa bench, slaps zinatembea kabisa like nonsense. So they happened to take a rope and tie me, and that's how I found myself in the strong room, was injected, slept for 3 straight days, and that's how I find myself in the ward. And that's how I was admitted for 2 weeks and got a bipolar diagnosis. deep down I told myself sitawahi vaa hiyo gown tena hospitali. Maybe niende juu ya disease zingine but not mental illness. I'm not crazy because one, you're treated like a crazy person. Kufungiwa kwanza like Mathare, mnavaa mpaka hizo nguo za watu wa jail. So unajua watu wa kamiti hizo wanavanga hizo lines. So it's really bad. Nikajiambia mimi sitawahi enda huku. Wacha nijue na meza dawa for my lifetime. Niende therapy, nijipeleka mwenye hospitali before nianze kubebwa kama nimefungwa, nidungwe na nifungiwe, akili irudi zero. Because you see there are some people, you go there the way I was violent. Unajua daktari hata elewa ni nini unataka. Hata fanya hiyo mental health assessment, atafuata kenye familia yako inasema. So familia ikisema, huyu hata amechoma nguo zote kwa hii nyumba, ametuchomea hadi nyumba. Wataona, he, like there was a time I went to hospital, it was in 2016. Kukakuwa na hiyo push and pull. My mama anasema hii na mimi narukia. Ati hata amechapa sister yake, uongo, ananifanyia hii. Sijui amefanya sijui nini. Ni wewe ndio uliniprovoke sijui nini. Daktari akasema, akaangalia, alafu najua shida ya Mathare because they are dealing with the consultants. This time unapata huyu, next time anapata huyu, so anaangalia ni nini umeandikiwa. So akaangalia history. You came here with acute psychosis. Now it is chronic. Dawa niliandikiwa. I remember it was like I was dying and resurrecting. And that was the time I had conceived. I felt like I was dying. Even after I got home, I was so suicidal because of the meds that I took. I had lost even the activities for daily living, the normal things that you do when you wake up. Brushing your teeth, taking your breakfast, even tying your shoelaces, even changing your clothes, taking a bath. These things were really difficult for me because I was drooling at that particular time. Even talking was a problem. I couldn't even remember my name. These are some of the effects of the first generation medications. Those were the ones that I was using at that particular time. Because you see, I went when I was so violent. Even the doctors getting the information from me. Why is it that I'm behaving the way I'm doing? Everything, they got it from my parents and my siblings. They're the ones who told her, by the way, huyu ametufanyia vituko, what we want is for her to get better. And you know, once wamekuachia tu hivyo daktari will do all that is in their means to ensure that hiyo hyperness imerudi chini. And that means starting you on a very high dose of medication to be able to like bring all the emotions, everything back to control. And that's what happened to me. It was really tough. 2 weeks later, I went home and it was tough. I was so suicidal, couldn't even feed myself, couldn't even take a bath. So I had to be taken back to hospital. And that's when I was prescribed for an advanced generation of medication, what I'm taking up to date. And I was able to be given meds that were able to reverse those side effects because I was also losing my eyesight. It was so bad. And I was looking like a 60-year-old woman. So even my sisters used to look at me and they used to cry. Kila time wanakuja hosi wananiangalia, my mom, they're like, Aki Christine, what happened? IKU, ni kurogo ulirogwa IKU ama ni nini? The mistake tulifanya ni kukupeleka Kenyatta University. So a lot of stereotyping, a lot of stigma, a lot of misconceptions with mental illness still exist. People think it's witchcraft. So to date, I don't know whether my mom has come to accept my diagnosis because at times she thinks, Aki KU ni kama kuna mtu alikupelekea vitu zako mahali ndo ukaharibika ukakuwa hivyo. So a lot of misconceptions still exist. So I was able to go for the disciplinary hearing and the letter that I got from Mathare Hospital is what acquitted me from the charges that were leveled against me. So they were able to know that I wasn't of sound mind and I was a victim of circumstance. And that's how I was cleared for graduation. And I graduated in 2015 December with a first class honors. But my happiness was short-lived because now facing the job market, the stigma that came with, why did you take 8 years in campus for a degree course ya 4 years? And you see, wewe ni mtu wa self-sponsored, si self-sponsored, government-sponsored So there is no way utatuambia ni school fees ulikosa. So each and every employer, and the one that really broke my heart was I had gotten a certain opportunity at a certain leading bank in Kenya. So I happened to undergo all the tests, all the trainings, passed with flying colors, was among the top candidates. But when it came to vetting of my documents, they were able to call my previous boss, and my boss told them that I disappeared for 1 month, not knowing where I was, only to show up later, looking like a shell of myself. And it was really, really difficult to be able to understand what it is that I was going through, because I wasn't open enough. And then they also wondered, why is it that I took 8 years in campus? I told them that it is because of my mental condition. And they were like, Christine will be able to give you a response in like 2 weeks. So 2 weeks later, people are getting their calling letters to go and work in different branches around the country. And Christine gets a regret. The regret reads, we cannot employ you because of your mental condition. The nature of work in the bank will cause you to have a relapse. But we'll give you lighter duties. And that's the last time I heard from them. That was in June 2016. So I was really, really depressed, because I had really told myself that these people are going to pay me good money. At last I'll be able to live a good life. Because I know my parents have been able to spend a lot of money on me, but I'll be able to pay them back that money. And all the time that I've lost, at least I will be able to regain. So I was depressed for a while, but it wasn't that serious. So come June 2016, like a few weeks later, that's when I was able to get another job with an NGO. Things were tough at that particular time. So in July, I normally undergo what we call seasonal affective depression, whereby the low temperatures due to the cold, they make me have low moods. So I get so depressed. So the dopamine, the serotonin, which are the feel-good hormones, are not produced in the right quantities. So that particular time, I had lost like 3 family members. It was so tough. Plus, things were not going as I had expected. So I just told my boss, by the way, I normally have a mental condition, and I feel it's like I'm going to have an episode. So he told me, by the way, Christine, I'll give you compassionate leave. You rest for close to a month, and come August, so you rest. So it was in July. So you rest for July, you rest August, and then September you'll be back. So that August, I remember something just told me, Christine, you can start your own organization. You can be able to meet people who have their own organizations. And that's how the idea of starting up an organization started. Kumbe, it was preparing me. So the day before I report back to work. What I remember, it was at 6 p.m. I just saw in the WhatsApp group for the organization, removed. Next, it is a text. Bring us the office keys. And that was it. I was sacked. Even without a letter showing the reasons, that was it. And it really, really became difficult. And that's what informed my advocacy journey. But at that particular time in 2016, I was advocating for environmental issues. I was advocating for gender-based violence, crime. So it continued for some time. My mom keeps telling me, Christine, apply for jobs. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for a disappointment. So I was just in the house, mostly doing a lot of research and doing, those academic writings and article writing for quite some time, for like 4 years. So come 2019, that's when I came across the mental health task force on social media, was able to liaise with one of the ladies who was on the panel because of her lived experience. And that's when she told me about support groups. And that's how I was able to join a mental health support group. For the longest time, that is when I accepted I have a mental health condition. Because even between 2015 to 2019, I was never hospitalized, but it was just drama after drama. I have fought with my sister. I have fought with my mom. I have fought with my brother. I have done so many bad things out there. Nimeongelesha mtu vibaya, even the people wenye tulikuwa tumeanzisha na organization, I have fallen out with them. Nimevuruka because I had many WhatsApp groups that were for the running the different departments of the organization. Nimetafuta watu karibu 50 eti nimewaambia the way I'm going to give them big jobs in my organization venye niko na donors. So nilikuwa nimevurutana na watu kabisa and it was really, really bad. So for the first time in 2019, that's when I realized that, yes, I have a mental health condition. I need to accept. Because for all those years, for the 4 years, every time I used to go to the hospital, I used to go to with my mom. And she's the one who used to say, Christine, ako hivi na hivi na hivi. And it really, really didn't sit well with me. So come 2019, that's when I realized, kumbe nakuanga mgonjwa, kumbe si mimi peke yangu mgonjwa, kumbe kuna watu wengi wagonjwa huko nje. And that's how I accepted my diagnosis, started going for treatment by myself, najipeleka. And each and every time I used to wonder, they were like, hey, and you, wapi mgonjwa? I'm like, si mimi ndo mgonjwa. No, you are not sick. So you see, acceptance comes with, you start taking care of yourself. You start adjusting, adjusting your lifestyle. You start accepting yourself as you are. You start interacting with people who have a condition similar to yours. And that's what informed me to start fighting for the rights of persons with disabilities and also with a particular focus with psychosocial disabilities, with the bias with bipolar disorder, because that is what I have gone through. So since that time until now, I can say it hasn't been easy, because even getting a job was still a struggle. You just apply and that's it. Kunaenda kunanyamaza. So I decided I won't let what I studied go into waste. Yes, I studied environment, but I'm more passionate about mental illness, about psychiatry, about psychology. Ever since nikwetu mdogo, I had wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Ben Carson has always been my mentor. Even I read Gifted Hands and Think Big when I was in standard 4. So in my mind, I had always told myself that that's the path that I will follow. And after turning my pain into purpose, I can say that I'm living my purpose, because around that 2019 is when I was able to narrow down my niche to mental health, and that's how Stand Out for Mental Health came into being. So I was just doing things alone. I was able to get like-minded individuals, and we were doing art pieces for various events, beauty pageants like Mr. and Miss Autism Kenya, Mr. and Miss Albinism Kenya. We were able to draw very, very nice art pieces for the former Senator Isaac Mwaura. We were also able to draw the now President William Ruto, plus many other nice paintings that we were able to make. And at the back of my mind, I told myself, even in 2016, I was advocating for different causes through dance, art, sports, and fashion. Why not channel all that energy into fighting for mental illness through dance, art, sports, and fashion? And that's how Stand Out for Mental Health came into being. And we've been doing amazing work since 2019. And we were able to register formally in August 2023. And so far, we've been able to run an art therapy sessions in Mukuru kwa Njenga, because currently I'm an outgoing fellow with Teach for Kenya, whereby I was able to implement a social change project in the underserved community of Mukuru kwa Njenga, whereby I was able to advocate for the rights of the learners and their parents through art. So we draw art pieces and we learn about different concepts of mental wellness through art. Plus we also have dance therapy. We really dance, and also play therapy. We have indoor games whereby we just play, we just let the inner child free, and we just enjoy ourselves. Then we also have the feelings jar, whereby we are able to collect thoughts of our learners, what they go through at home and also at school, And we're able to take it up as teachers with their parents, and I can say it's a really, really an amazing project. And also in September, 12th September, this year, we were able to have our first hangout at Arboretum, the Suicide Prevention and Awareness Day. And we are able to have yoga, we are able to have group therapy, and we are able to have speed dating, and close to 150 youth were able to attend our sessions. We also had the mental wellness concert that happened in 15th October at Memorial Park, and we were able to bring artists and comedians and also persons with lived experiences and professionals, and we were able to share nuggets of wisdom on matters mental illness. What has worked for me is, I can say, is being self-aware. Being self-aware is really key because it helps you understand yourself. Because as of now, I can be able to say, to point a finger to, these are my warning signs. And that came because I was able to join a support group. So what I can say, take time to study yourself. I was sleeping for 8 hours. Right now, I'm sleeping for 3 or 4 hours. That tells you something is really wrong. I'm really anxious about something, and it's making me to self-medicate with maybe things like alcohol, bang, and so many other things. I'm engaging in risky sexual behavior. That will tell you, by the way, things are not okay. I'm used to going to work at this particular time, sai siski kwenda job. Truancy, running away from time to time. Impulsivity, intrusive thoughts. These small things. For example, you realize that your brother, your sister, your friend is not doing things venye alikuwa amezoea. You see, it reaches a time, Christine, I cannot realize that I'm sick. But my sibling, my family member, my friend, my colleague is the one who will realize that I'm not well. And given that you're self-aware, and maybe I have shared with them whatever it is that I'm going through. You know, for me, I'm outspoken and I'm healing loudly. For others, they are just silent and they suffer silently. You wouldn't even know that they are undergoing something. So what I can say is that you become self-aware. Be able to study yourself. I'm like this and this and this. Be able to know these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. Even with bipolar, yes, I can say that now my abilities are more pronounced. My weaknesses too are more pronounced as well. But I've come to the understanding that I need to major on the major and minor on the minor. So being self-aware has really, really helped me, and therapy has helped me be able to know my warning signs. I've been able to know my triggers. I've been able to have coping skills, which are really key. So what I can tell you out there, who maybe you're relating with whatever it is that I've gone through, try to take time and analyze yourself. Make Google your friends. We also have a lot of content on the internet on matters living with bipolar. For instance, we have Bipolar Hope. We also have many other resources, even here in our country, that are able to advise you more on what it is that you're going through. We also have hotlines that you can be able to talk to a counselor 24 hours a day, and they are free. For instance, 1199, which is a Red Cross hotline, and 1195, whereby you are able to talk to a counselor online, somebody that you don't even know, and they'll be able to listen to you. And what I can tell you is that depression is such a deep pit that getting out of it is quite a struggle. You will not able to get out of it if you don't believe in yourself. The first thing is for you to believe in yourself, that you can be able to get through no matter what life throws at you. A diagnosis, be it bipolar, be it schizophrenia, be it ADHD or autism, is not the end of life. It's up to you to be able to see life beyond that diagnosis. And that is what will help you. I know for families, my family included, it is really, really difficult, because this is a person you've lived with for your entire life, and an event in life just comes that turns this person into an aggressive person, a different person than you ever knew. But what I can tell you that learn to be empathetic and embrace this person as they are. Learn to accept who they are, their strengths, their weaknesses. Get to learn more about the condition that they are suffering from. Better yet, attend family therapy and also join a support group. We have many support groups, and I run a support group on WhatsApp that is able to give hope to caregivers, to mental health professionals, and to persons with lived experience who are able to be advocates of mental wellness outside there. A lot of stigma still exists in Africa, Kenya included, about mental illness. But what I can say is that mental illness is not witchcraft. Persons with mental illness are not crazy. It's only that we have a different brain orientation. We only want to welcome you into our world so that we can understand our struggles and what we go through. We don't need sympathy, we need empathy. Take time to put yourself in our shoes and try to understand us. To begin with, on social media, you can find me at Christine Ombima on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Also, you can find our organization on all social media platforms at Stand Out for Mental Health. And if you want to join our support group, you can WhatsApp me on 0728 693 669.